Hey guys, what's going on? This is Pansar Dragon, and today we're going to be doing a video on the top 5 best AD carries for solo queue as of patch 6.21. Now the last time we did this video was in 6.16, so it's been a very long time. So I decided, hey, it's time to do an update video on the top 5 best AD carries for solo queue. Also, Pro Guides has recently launched a new app, and to kick off their launch, they have a cool giveaway where you can win a 1-year membership to their site. The giveaway link is in the description below. Now with all that being said, let's get started. Alright, so coming in at number 5 is gonna be Caitlyn. Why is she so good? So basically, she's a lane bully. She constantly pressures out her laner, as she does have long range, and usually should be able to win lane, especially if she has like a pokey support. And yeah, she just shoves you into your tower, basically gets a tower after like 8 minutes or 10 minutes, and like as long as she doesn't get ganked, she will basically dominate the laning phase. And she also scales well into the mid game and late game due to her Runon's headshot potential and just having so much damage. Along with her traps. Those traps, they're just so good for sieging a tower and holding your tower. I don't know, man, they're just so good. They also do a lot of damage if you step on it, so watch out. But yeah, right now in solo queue, she just feels really popular. Okay, well, kind of popular, but like she's definitely a pick I see pretty often. And the only thing I see that kind of sucks for her is if she does get ganked and she gets that death, she doesn't have her early game power anymore, and if she does get behind, it's kind of hard for her to get back into the game. It has to go to like the late game kind of, or getting 2 items of course. But yeah, her early game is pretty powerful as long as you don't die. Anyways, here's a recommended build for her. And next up, coming at number 4, is going to be Miss Fortune. Being played as a support is definitely something, but I don't think she actually belongs in a support role. Maybe just as a counter for Zyra, but as an AD carry, I think she's like pretty powerful. Like, I don't know, like, okay, so in high elo, no one really plays her, but like I see her win rate over the past like 4 patches has been very high. And she's not that bad. I don't see anything bad about her. I think her damage for teamfights is insane because of her ultimate. And also another reason why she's really good, I feel, is because most of the other AD carries have been nerfed. So her being like kind of powerful, and then everyone kind of being downgraded makes her a little bit more powerful. And I feel like she's sleeper OP in high elo, but no one really wants to touch her. Me myself, I'm definitely going to touch her, or Jinx, if I do get the AD carry role. And she's also pretty simple to play, to be honest. But yeah, if I do see her more in solo queue, and people start spamming her, and she becomes like super obnoxious in team fights, she'll probably be bumped up in this tier list to like maybe number 2 or number 1, but she's kind of just unpopular right now. Anyways, here's a recommended build for her. Next up, coming at number 3 is gonna be Jinx. So I think this girl is really strong. I mean, her late game and mid game potential, it's just so good. Like, you get the late game with her, you're very scared of her unless you can like dive her, nuke her, etc. But if everyone's appealing for her, she becomes like super insane and basically one of the strongest hyper carries in the game. Her early game is, I don't really know, but I know her tower pushing is one of the best, and if she can make it through the early game, she's definitely one of the better AD carries in the mid game than most other AD carries, as she is a hyper carry. But if her team doesn't peel for her, or she gets caught out too much of course, then you have to wait until like 40 minutes. But as long as she can survive these team fights, she's definitely an AD carry to look out for. Anyways, here's the recommended build for her. Next up, coming at number 2 is going to be Azrael. This champion is so popular that everyone's playing him, even non-AD carry mains, and it's all because of that Triforce. The new Triforce I think indirectly buffed him, since more attack speed, more cooldown reduction, and he didn't really care about crit too much. So yeah, I see people going the Trinity Force more on him, and just being a little bit more annoying. Sometimes you'll see the Iceborne Gauntlet build, but that's only against all AD. Even then, this Triforce build is definitely an upgrade for him when the Triforce did get changed. Anyways, here's a recommended build for him. As you can see, there's a Triforce in this build. And finally, coming at number 1 is going to be Jhin. So this champion, oh man, after the nerfs he received, I thought he'd be like gone and donezo. But what do you know, people are still playing him, and I can see why. The nerfs only affected his ultimate and I guess his W a little bit. He still scales incredibly well, and his ultimate does so much more execution damage. Sometimes it even catches me off guard, but even if he's not executing people with his ultimate, he can still slow them with it, which allows his teammates to follow up on his little initiation. And then of course he can execute them. But yeah, I don't know, his ultimate is definitely really strong. It's kind of funny that he can just use his ultimate and pop it off and then win his team fight without even like auto attacking or pressing Q or E or W. So yeah, basically his utility is really strong, and it didn't really matter about the changes that happened to his ultimate. So I think he's definitely a champion that deserves the number 1 spot until they reduce his damage, or maybe his utility or the girth of his ultimate, so it's not as accurate and takes a little bit more skill. Then maybe he won't be such a top tier pick. Anyways, here's a recommended build for him. And finally, we're going to be doing honorable mentions, and first up is going to be Vayne. This champion, I didn't think would be a pick in high elo. I always felt she would be a little lackluster, even with the buff she received to her Q, where her Q can out crit. But I've been seeing her a lot more recently, and I think it's really stupid that her Q, and when she gets like Infinity Edge and all these like big AD items, can one-shot or two-shot people in like the late game. So yeah, she's actually very scary in the late game, and definitely has a lot more carry potential than I've ever seen before. She doesn't abuse her W anymore, she abuses her basically one-shot potential. I mean, in patch 6.17, her AD ratio on her Q got increased by like 20%. Now obviously she does have some problems in the laning phase. There's some counters to her like Caitlyn and all these lane bullies, but if that laning phase goes good for her, oh my gosh, she's just going to be a problem you're going to have to deal with later in the game. Anyways, here's a recommended build for her. And finally, last up but not least, well, I want to say Lucian, but I don't know. Here's the thing, he's actually falling out of flavor just a little bit. A lot of the top tier AD carries have shied away from him, and he's being played just a little bit less. I definitely think he's a little bit, overhyped and not as powerful as everyone thinks. Like, the thing is, if he doesn't really get a good laning phase going for him, he doesn't really snowball, and there's way better AD carries than him in the mid game and late game. And like, also if he's behind and he wants to catch up, well, when he's catching up, he's not really that useful. There's better AD carries because what he's building is, I guess, Black Cleaver and Ghostblade, but armor penetration is only good when you're like snowballing and doing well. Since he's behind, he's kind of more utility with the Black Cleaver and shredding armor for his teammates if he has any AD teammates. Anyways, here's a recommended build for him, and that's gonna be it. That's gonna be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys did like this video, make sure to leave a like, and if you didn't, make sure to subscribe. Anyways, I am Panzer Dragon, and I'll see you guys next time.